Good morning, everyone. Gotten a wee bit colder again. Winter does not want to release its grasp for spring at all. But it is a beautiful morning. You can hear the birds singing, I hope. Today so far is a pretty good day. A little dizzy and nauseous, but not too bad. So, you know, a lot of times when I come out here, I don't really prepare. Sometimes I'll think about, I should talk about this or this or this. But I usually wait till I'm right here in the moment and see really what's coming through to me. And I think our lives and the changes that we're making are kind of like winter not wanting to release its grasp. Sometimes the changes that we're trying to make are hard or difficult, and we might go a step forward and then 3 steps back. And we need to be okay with that, because we don't look at winter and, well, some people do, I guess, and say, stop. You know, why all this back and forth? Let's just have spring. I mean, you can do that, but you're not really going to change it. Or you can just accept it for what it is and keep making your plans for spring while dealing with the fact that it's still winter. Neither's right or wrong, just one is easier and doesn't have anxiety and stress attached to it. But I know there's times in my life that I've fought wherever I'm going, whatever path I'm on, or I just couldn't jump all the way in. And there's back and forth then. I saw a post yesterday about, I'm done complaining about winter and I want to complain about summer. And I kind of chuckled at it, but it's another one of those, why are we always complaining? Why aren't we always happy? I'm really looking forward to spring. I'm really looking forward to my garden and my greenhouse being up. And the warmth and just the rejuvenation of the season. And I know summer will be right around the corner. And summer's hot here. We don't do AC. And so it's going to be very hot summer for me being pregnant. And I could concentrate on that. I could concentrate on the negative. Or I can concentrate on the positive. Hey, I'm pregnant. Or, after this summer, I'm going to really appreciate next winter when it's cold. The cold won't seem as cold either. I really feel like it helps you to be in your natural rhythm, not having air conditioning. Because it can be sweltering and horrible, but it can also be really nice in the fall, because there will be mornings like today and it just won't seem that cold. And now, as we're getting through winter and there's been lots of super cold mornings and fires, now I'm looking forward to the warmth of spring and summer. And I think just going with the flow of the year and the seasons. If we fight them, I think that's creating angst and depression and anxiety. If we're constantly, I get to winter and I hate it and I'm fighting it instead of, or I'm wallowing in it, instead of, it's winter. This is the season of rest. I kind of wondered about this pregnancy, and I've always wanted to have a baby in the winter or the spring. But I also recognize that that would be a really hard time to have a baby here. There's a lot going on in the spring. Not to say that there's not a lot going on to the fall, but it's shifting into an easier season of winter, a more restful season where there may be a few chores to come out and do, but I can rest and recuperate as needed. And so I just kind of go, there's another plan. There's something, I'm going to appreciate it for that and just flow with it. And you can be floating down the river and hit the bumps of the rocks, and you can hang on to them and go, why is this rock here? And really hold it and hate it. Or you can go, oh, I bumped a rock, and keep flowing down the river. I find life to be so much easier when I'm just flowing down the river. And when the bumps come, I just go, oh, that's a bump. Okay, what should I do about this? Nothing? Something? Okay. And keep going. And, sometimes there's lots of bumps. Sometimes there's rapids. But it's still all how I want to deal with it. If I want to fight it, or if I just want to flow with it. And there's a lot of times anymore I'm much better at being in a flow state. But there's still times I fight it. And that's that, kind of what I talked about at the beginning. Going this back and forth between winter and spring. If you're having back and forth, have love and compassion for yourself, kindness. Because some point you're going to get it, you're going to flow. And the time where you weren't flowing, or it was just harder, you kept hitting a lot of rocks, and you kept going, okay, I'm going to flow here, and you hit another rock. It's okay. It's going to be okay. And you just need to have that knowledge that it is. And at some point you're going to realize I'm flowing. When a bump comes up, it's not a big deal. I deal with it then. Some people are kind of floating on their raft, and they look up ahead, they see rocks, and they're going, oh my gosh, there's rocks, and they create anxiety and stress. And some people are looking backwards and they see rocks, and that creates depression and fear still. Like they're going to circle back around to that. Or it could happen again. But when we can let go and just say, I'm going to wait for the rock to be here in this moment. And if it's in this moment, then I'll deal with it. But otherwise, I'm not going to borrow worry. I'm going to be aware, always. But awareness doesn't have to equal fear. So if you're in a harder transition period of back and forth, and you're really trying to be into an awareness state and you're floating back into fear, just keep thinking, what's making you afraid? What is your worst case scenario? And think it through. And then what? Maybe it's death. Okay. Did you confront what you think about death? Have you asked yourself what you think comes next? Do you really have a reason to be afraid of death? I guess it depends on your outlook of death and what you think happens next. And if that's what you keep coming back to on a daily basis that you're afraid of, then you really need to dig deeper into that, or I would suggest you dig deeper. You don't have to do anything. I would encourage you to, but you don't have to. You can think that I'm full of garbage and don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But if you keep having certain fears and anxieties and depressions that are coming back up, I'd encourage you to dig deep into them, because, and then you're going to have this time period where you're aware of them and you start stepping back into that observer mode, and you're like, okay, I'm observing, I'm getting anxious about this moment, and I don't want to be anxious here. So what can stop that? And sometimes just stepping back into that observer role stops that. Not always, sometimes though. And then you're going to start asking yourself questions. Why am I afraid? Why am I anxious? What do I think is going to happen here? Okay, so what if it did? Go from there. And in the beginning, it will be hard. You'll have back and forth, just like our season. It's right now. The old ways are imprinted on you. They've been programmed into you, some since childhood, birth, and you're going to have to unprogram and reprogram yourself with something new. And that's difficult, and that leads to this back and forth. It's kind of a dance. And there's some things, though, I can guarantee you're just going to change, and there's going to be it will be a straight winter to spring, and woohoo, it's springtime. All right, awesome, new growth. And for others, depending on what it is, there's going to be that back and forth dance. Winter comes back, spring comes in. Winter comes back, spring comes in. It's okay. You can't look at those moments of drifting back into how you used to do things as bad or wrong. You can only have love and compassion for yourself and just say, I really am doing the best I can. I am changing the programming of possible generations to become something new. If I can't do it in one foul swoop, it's okay. Love, compassion for you. And if you see somebody else struggling with that back and forth, instead of pointing it out to them, going, oh my God, you're failing again. You didn't succeed on your diet again? Oh my gosh. Well, that's what you do. Always. Maybe we need to have more love and compassion for each other. If you see someone falling for the same narratives that's in the media or whatever, and can you love them through that? Can you have compassion for them through that? They must be in a constant fear state. Always. Can you imagine what their cortisol levels are at? They must be really high. Constantly. What a horrible place to be in fear constantly. That every time you put on the TV, that there's something to be afraid of. Can you have love and compassion for somebody else through that? The more we come back to our now moments, the more we ask ourselves those questions, the more we have love and compassion for ourselves and for others, I think the deeper we grow. And you might not feel that way, and that's okay. I'm just telling you my thoughts. If you don't agree with me or you think something slightly different, a lot different, whatever, hey, that's okay. Just throwing something else out there. I hope you have a wonderful day. It's getting a little chilly here after 16 minutes, so I'm going to go get the pigs their food for tomorrow because we ferment their feed. Check on everybody, make sure they're eating well, and get inside into a toasty fire. I hope you have a great day.